I'm just gonna film like this, and I think you guys should be able to hear me. But I'm trying my best not to cry, and then those who know me or are familiar with me know that like I'm not a big crier. I'm not a crier at all, especially when it comes to crying in front of other people. I usually have a very like delayed emotional response because that's just how I am. However, like recently in life, I've began to allow myself to try like be open to like feeling and processing deep emotions more in real time. Like it's something I prayed for and asked God to help me with, because before, and when I say before, I'm referring to maybe about almost 10 years ago now, not even 10 though, maybe like a good 7 years ago, I was having a lot of trouble like facing and fully feeling everything that I feel, and I recognize that it's starting to be a problem. So I literally prayed and begged God to like help me process emotion. Now anyways, with that being said, I don't think I'm gonna cry now because I just went through that whole rant, that whole explanation. Maybe I will, I don't know. But guys, you gotta understand, I'm not dressed for attention. When things like this happen to me, I'm not screaming for attention or anything like that. This just happens to be the climate of today. I feel like this climate of the world in general, especially today's day, right? Like it's just more crazy things happening today in life. So I'm walking, and I basically got harassed and followed by a guy. And I'm going to tell the rest of the story when I'm like stationary at home so I could focus. But I did want to try to capture exactly what I looked like, how I was feeling at the time. I didn't want to really record myself too crazy so no one would see where I'm at. But yeah, that happened. And yeah, I'm just going to do it separate because this is like actually kind of crazy. All right, you guys. So as I was saying or whatever, as I was walking, I'm gonna just make this, at this point I'm exasperated. I think earlier I felt like I was getting brought to like triggered of tears because like I've been doing my best to just stay on the right path and the right energy with the Most High God, with my higher self, and just taking care of shit. And at this time I was literally going to pick up groceries for myself after, like making sure I tend to myself health-wise, and like I felt energized enough and strong enough, which is not always the case, to go pick up myself some groceries. So that's what I was doing when this happened. I was walking down the street. It was hard for me to record because one, I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't want to get out any valuables. I didn't want to stop or anything like that. I was just nervous. So basically what happened was I was walking down the street on my way to a store that was close by, and I had a wagon because I had to carry back some stuff inside the wagon. So I had headphones on because I'm vibing or whatever. I'm still aware of my surroundings, looking around, blah, blah, blah. So there's this guy who's walking. He's like walking a electric scooter, which people do all the time, everywhere. So, he stops and he like stops, y'all. And basically, I'm gonna try to like act it out so y'all can just see like how it was. So basically, we're passing each other up, and somebody with a scooter is gonna probably move over and let you get some space. But he like stood right there where I didn't have no space in the middle of the sidewalk, and there was like dirt on the sides of us, so I couldn't like wheel my buggy. Like I couldn't wheel my wagon like around. So like basically he gave me this little bit of space so I can like brush up against him, but instead like I moved over, pulled the wagon up, and then just like I stepped into the dirt and then pulled the wagon around him. And I guess that offended him because I couldn't hear him. I was something in my heart told me that he was on some fucked up, like on some weird shit, just because of the way he like stopped and like gave me the little bit of space, and the way he looked was just like, go ahead, like brush past me, like on some weird shit. So when I did that, I'm just like, I even like, us girls, like we'll do some shit and we're just like, I gotta do all this, like like nothing crazy, no neck rolling, just like, and even if there was, like there wasn't none of that. I was just like, I just pulled it around. like I said, didn't take the headphones out, just kept walking. And then when I look back to, like, sometimes I look back at my wagon just to make sure it's like aligned and it's not about to go over any like cracks in the sidewalk, because that happens in LA sometimes. Those sidewalks be fucked up. But anyways, like, I was doing that, and as I looked back to check on the wagon to make sure it was aligned, I saw him, like, his scooter was parked, like he had parked it, stopped it, he didn't move it, he just started walking towards me, and he was like pointing, and he just was like doing this, like come here, like, and he was like walking at me, and like I was like scared, so I just kept walking, y'all, looking forward. And like every like maybe like 5 seconds I kept like looking down back at the buggy, and like the second time I did it, I noticed he was still coming. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, please God, like, don't let this be some instance where somebody just does some fucked up shit to me and I have to get over it again for the millionth time. I wasn't at a party, I wasn't at a club, I wasn't having a drink, I wasn't having a smoke, like. And I think that's why I was getting emotional, because it's like, one, I feel like I should be able to do any of that, you know, but I've realized, like, I'm by myself fully, so I should at least feel safe, God, on your beautiful planet, to just walk by myself in the daytime. I made sure it was the daytime. I made sure I looked undesirable. You know what I'm saying? All of these things consciously. And I didn't even like do all that like I'm paranoid. It's just like, that's how I dress when I'm pulling the wagon. I'm just like throwing on something comfortable that I don't mind sweating in, some sturdy shoes, and, you know, something to keep me warm so that my neck isn't out, whatever. Had, you know, my cap on, my headphones, whatever. And I just looked like I looked in the video, whatever. So it wasn't about that. Like, I think like my issue with the whole thing is just like, you never know when you're just going to set an NPC off, or just set a random person off to just like, just do something weird to you. And the crazy part is when I was walking down like closer to like the main street, I was getting a little bit feeling more safer, because by the like this store in this common area that's like close to where I live, where I was recording was by a a charger port for electric cars. So like there was people around, so I felt a little safer getting over there. But as I walked, like I saw guys, like, okay, let me tell this story as short as possible. So as I'm walking, y'all, I'm praying to God. I'm like, God, please, God, please, God, please. Every time I turn around, the man, the guy, he's still walking type shit. He's like somebody maybe around my age, maybe in his, maybe 30, maybe a little, 33, something like that. Maybe he was below 35, I think. But he was walking. He had on some gray sweatpants, a wife beater, and he had like some type of like cigar, something hanging out of his mouth, like a, like a cigarello or like a blunt or like a joint, something in his mouth. I don't know. But like I said, like he just kept coming toward me. Like he kept coming. Like he was adamant. He was not stopping. And he was even starting to get faster. So I'm like literally heart beating, terrified. Then I saw this like big guy, like walking, like jaywalking across the street, like in our direction. I'm just thinking, God, please, it would be so tight if this guy was like watching and protecting somehow. But I was like, maybe that's not the case. That was just wishful thinking, right? And I was just thinking, because people cross the street like that all the time, because they park, everybody parks right there, because we're where the free parking is. So as I'm walking, I see this lady in her white car, and she's like putting her groceries or something in the car. And I told her, I was so scared, y'all. I told her, I'm walking out, I didn't even want to look. I was just like, he's following me. I was like, be careful, ma'am, because he's following me. And she was just like, oh yeah, he just came by me and started trying to take stuff out of my car and da-da-da-da. And I called my son to come over here, and the big guy, y'all, the whole time was her son. I kid you not. Came over there. He stood there looking like, yeah, come up on my mama and you finna get, and they both were standing there looking like a little worried for me as well. So y'all, I just want to say, now I'm getting emotional, because like God has you, like, for real. And even if it's like in the last moment, in the nick of time, which is so trippy, like, goddamn, like, God, please, like, why scare me like that? Why even spook me like this? Like, I don't be getting the point. But it's just like, okay, I felt safe already. I didn't need to experience that to feel safer. But I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I already know what's true about my situation. I'm a girl alone. I'm attractive. Even if I wasn't attractive, I'm sure I would still get harassed, because people are just crazy. Just like he was harassing the fucking older lady. She was an older lady by herself. And I don't know if he was looking for a victim or what. Like, I don't know what the fuck he was looking for. But y'all, like, that's the ins and outs of what happened. Like, I was terrified, y'all. I didn't have nothing on me because I was grocery shopping. I was just terrified, y'all. I didn't know if he was gonna run up on me. I just didn't know. I was terrified. I don't know what to say or do about stuff like this, because I feel like no matter what you're doing, like, for some reason, trouble just like, it's something about certain auras. It's just like, it just pulls in the craziest characters. Like, even when I was in one of the stores, like another like random like homeless guy or unhoused guy who looked like he was maybe on drugs or something. He had really dirty feet, kind of smelled or whatever. He came into the store, and I can tell he just wanted to come by, like, close to me. Like, he kept trying to act like he was looking for something by me, but I wasn't looking open. It's not like I'm looking at people smiling, laughing, waving. Like, I don't do that shit. I know what that brings. And it's not that I put on a face either, but I'm just like giving that whole, like, I give that energy of like, I'm scanning my surroundings, don't come close. And it's not overbearing. It's not underwhelming either. It's like, to me, the perfect amount of awareness and vigilance. And usually that works, and it lets people know to like stay down and back the fuck up. But for some reason today, I just knew it was something about my aura. Like, I just knew, like, I'm feeling so good. I feel like when I go outside, something just told me intuitively that something would happen, but I put it out of my head. I prayed before I leave, like I always do. I was, just walking carefree, la-di-da-di-da, enjoying the weather, thanking God as I'm walking, and that happened. And I'm just like, look, like, this happens to me like too many times a year, and like, I feel like a good 3 times a year is too many times. But I don't know. I feel like when you're just a vulnerable person, it doesn't even matter about being a young woman or a young attractive woman. Sometimes it's just about being a woman. Sometimes it's about being a disabled woman. Sometimes it's about being an older woman. Sometimes it's just about being a woman, period. Sometimes it's about being a black woman. It's a lot of, different reasons that people will come and like harass you. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know what I'm saying with this. I just know that, like, I just wanted to share this because it really disturbed me, and it made me feel like, I just don't feel like I fit or I'm safe, like, where I am. Like, I have safety measures in place, like, don't get me wrong, but like, nobody wants to be in a disaster all their fucking life. Like, I'm sick of, stalkers and police reports and gang stalking and having to fucking see about a restraining order at least once a year for different reasons. And people might not think, oh, like, are you sure this is just happening? You do something to deserve it? If walking down the street makes me deserve it, if just being a person in my apartment, enjoying my apartment, on my own, laughing and smiling and watching a movie and, spending time with friends and maybe a lover, like, if doing normal shit means that I'm bringing it upon myself, then I guess I'm bringing it upon myself, because, I've had too many people come at me with nefarious intentions, and I've had to just like pick up the pieces, whether that be through feeling traumatized, being traumatized, or having to take legal action. Like, it's too much, y'all. It's too much. I wish I didn't have to deal with this. That's all I have to say.